Hey fellow babies, welcome back to Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net. I'm Michael Pachter. If you are a Patreon patron, we thank you so much for your patronage. If you're a YouTube subscriber, thank you. That's very kind of you. Please remember you have to re-up your Amazon Prime subscription linkage with your Twitch Prime. You've got to do that every month. So if you haven't done it for a while, please check out the show description below, and there are instructions on how to link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch Prime account. If you do that, we get paid a couple bucks. It costs you nothing. Amazon provides that as a free perk, and the way they squeeze you is they make you redo it. It's only a couple of clicks. We get $2. Please give us 2 clicks for $2. It would be great. All right, fellow babies. Today's question from Patreon from Levi Cohn. You sometimes hear about publishers, especially Nintendo, sitting on completed games for a long time before releasing them, sometimes even years. In these cases, what is the publisher considering? Unlike film or TV, games age due to advances in tech. When would it be smart to refrain from releasing a completed game? Do you think the development studios have any say in it? If they get bonuses based on sales, couldn't it hurt the bottom line? Look, Nintendo pretty much doesn't pay bonuses based on sales. Nintendo pays its people, I'm sure well, because nobody quits, but they're just not known for profit sharing or revenue sharing. The answer is that Nintendo is trying to be better than anybody, and they have been, at the cadence of game releases. So what matters to Nintendo is having a steady set of releases that are spaced out properly throughout the year. Obviously, everybody's not going to buy every game, but what they want to do is have a game every year that appeals to their entire audience, and then 3 or 4 others that have appealed to half the audience. So everybody kind of finds 2 or 3 games that they want to play, and that keeps you feeling satisfied that you've got your Switch and there's always something to play. And most of their games, you can, I guess you could finish Zelda in 8 hours. You can play Zelda for 100 hours, so they tend to keep you occupied for a month or so. And if you have 3 of those a year, you're playing on the Switch 3 or 4 months a year. And what I find is, the big titles, I tend to play every third one, but the little titles, like, God, I could play Golf Story now. I could keep playing it. So they come up with these games that are fun, that are time consuming and fun, and have good replay value. But sitting on it, I can't speak from experience that I can name a game that I know for sure was finished in the can and sat for years. I'm sure it exists, but months, absolutely. Like, to get the cadence right, if 2 studios finish a game the same month and Nintendo wants them 3 months apart, 100% they will sit on it. I don't know. I can't name an example. I've heard rumors, but I can't name an example of a game that is no game's ever done. I mean, every developer can always find something else to do to a game, and I think what's fun about it. I don't know if you guys remember back in 2004, but World of Warcraft came out, and it got a 75 Metacritic score. And about a month later, they put in a big update, and everything worked, and everything that Metacritic hated, the reviewers hated, was fixed. And they just never finished that game. They just keep working on it, and that's the dream of all developers, is to always be able to improve your game and make it better and better and better. So I don't actually buy the premise that any game is ever finished, and in fact, most developers will tell you, God, if I only had 3 more months, and we can argue about, whether that's true of Baldur's Gate 3 or something like those guys. Maybe that is the perfect game. Maybe they did everything and they couldn't do anymore. But even those guys would tell you with their 99 review score, we should have gotten 100. And if we had another year, we would have gotten 100. And they probably would have. It's very funny. I think I told Shane this, but I bought that game Balatro because it was nominated for Game of the Year. And I was telling Shane it didn't have a lot of replayability because I finished every deck and every level. And then I started noticing there were all these decks I hadn't unlocked. So I started looking to figure out how to unlock them. And I'm like, oh, I have to beat each deck on like multiple levels. So now I'm on the 3rd level of every deck that I finished. I'm beginning the 4th, and I keep losing. So the replayability is cool because they make it harder and harder. And I'm really good at the game. I mean, I've got the strategy down. I know what jokers I want. So, but it's like, it's fun, and that's what makes a good game. That the developer can keep making it better. Look at Assassin's Creed, which was dated for November, and then got postponed to February. Now it's postponed to March. By the time we get to March, it'll probably get postponed to April. But what Ubisoft said was it was ready, but based on the trolls and all that from the Star Wars game, and they decided there were things they wanted to fix in the game, and I'm not sure what that is. I mean, they're obviously not changing the protagonists out, but they're adding more stuff to the game and polishing. I don't know that advances in gaming technology make much difference for Nintendo, because the technology, it's like we can argue about whether 2024 Switch games look better than 2017 Switch games, probably. But does 2024 look better than 2022? I doubt it. I mean, we can argue. Like I said, I'm sure that if Zelda had 2 more years, it wouldn't have been as choppy, and it would have had higher fidelity. They would have figured out how to compress the files and decompress them and make them look more beautiful. But that, short of that, gamers don't care. They like the game and they want to play the game. So I hope that answered the question. I don't think that the developers have any say in it at Nintendo. They do elsewhere, and you get games that are rushed out like Cyberpunk that was just broken when it launched, and it's good now. But they had to get it out because they literally make 2 games, and the other one came out in 2013, so they were due for another game. Would they have rather waited another year and gotten it perfect? Yes, and it would have been Game of the Year everywhere. But they committed to investors they get it out sooner, and they rushed it out. So yes, everything benefits from time. And public companies have to answer shareholders, and they have to meet deadlines. Private companies don't. So that's the answer. Thanks for joining us on Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net. Thank you for subscribing as a Patreon patron or a YouTube subscriber. Shane is able to afford eggs because of that. And please remember, you have to re-up your Amazon Prime and Twitch Prime link every month. So please check the show description below, and there are instructions on how to do that. That costs nothing. So it costs you the time it takes to click on the show description and follow the instructions, about 30 seconds, and Shane gets $2. So please do it, because if we multiply that times a couple of million of you that are watching this right now, Shane will be able to retire, and there aren't a couple of million of you, but tell your friends. Anyway, appreciate the linkage. I will see you guys next time.